There is a lot of talk today about diminishing attention spans. Not so long ago, we'll say 10, 15 years ago, it was assumed that the average attention span of someone watching, say, a speaker, or listening to something on radio, or even watching something on television, would be about 20 minutes. Now an expert professor tells us it's now been reduced to 3.5 minutes. Why is this? Why has our attention span suddenly become shorter and shorter? I would like to lay a lot of the blame, and I know a lot of people won't agree with me, I'd like to lay a lot of the blame on the advertising industry. The advertising industry, the marketing. When I was a kid, say 6 years of age, and that's 80 years ago, about the only advertising you saw was on the side of trams, buses, and billboards. There was nothing on radio because I was brought up in London, and at that time they only had 2 government-controlled stations. No advertising. That was the home station and the light station. And of course, even when I left England in 1951 to come to Australia, there was no commercial stations. And then I arrived in Australia. Every station had its advertisements, but things weren't too bad when you think about it. And even on those billboards in those days, there were certain things which stuck in your mind. Johnny Walker, still going strong. Carter's Little Liverpool pills. In fact, I can remember the first advertisements I ever became aware of were 2 eyes, 2 large eyes affixed to the front end of a double-decker bus. I can't remember what the ad was about, but I remember asking somebody about the eyes, and they told me it was advertising. To this day, I don't know what it was about. But then, as time has gone on, television arrived. When television first arrived, you could watch the ABC, and you could watch a show which was advertised for, say, 30 minutes, and it would go for 29.5 minutes. The only break would be the advertising, not the advertising, just the title of the next show coming up, or perhaps a couple of words by an announcer. There was no advertising in there. Now, if you watch ABC, the so-called half-hour show will go for 22 minutes. Why? Because so many shows now are designed to be fitted into commercial television stations. So even the non-commercial commercial television stations have to fill in their time. And how do they do it? By advertising the upcoming programs, revamping what's going to come on next, etc. It's got to the stage now where people wake up in the morning and there are 1,000 cries saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, I'm important. And we have to be discriminatory. We have to discriminate what are we going to watch. So we fritter across hundreds of different advertisements and things, hoping we can find something of real value to us. And whilst we're doing that, our attention span gets shorter and shorter. Does it have a deleterious effect? I think it does. I think the ability not to be able to concentrate for a long period of time will have its ramifications felt, not only now, but in our future. What will happen? Hard to say. Will we lose our sense of creativity? Will we lose our sense of discriminations to find out what's important and what is not? The advertising industry, so much should be laid at their door for what they've done to humanity at large. Take, for example, accidents on the road. Have a look at the next few television advertisements for motor cars on TV. Just have a look at them. Tell me how many do not show you cars speeding around roadways. There's one at the moment where a person is driving frantically through the pouring rain at night time, going around every corner as fast as he or she can. Does this help in road safety? Think about it. It encourages people. It's saying you're not manly, or you're not the full woman unless you can drive a car fast in poor conditions. Bit of a hobby horse with mine, this road safety bit, but it's the fact. The amount of people who are encouraged by speeding ads to buy cars which speed. The emphasis on that. Very little on safety, very little on comfort, very little on durability, all speed. The advertising industry has taken charge of so much of our lives. So much of our lives. Is it good? Well, obviously, I know. Well, my belief is it's not. They won't back off. Everybody will keep crying, look at me, look at me, look at me. And maybe our attention spans will get so short we won't look at anything.